To extra depth on what many are calling an epidemic rise in the number of Major League Baseball pitchers requiring surgery to their throwing arm the past few years. ABC 7's Michael Courier takes us to the baseball diamond, explaining why the root of the problem may be at the high school or college level of play.
Many in baseball continue searching for one of baseball's most complexing issues: arm injuries. The crisis has been building for decades, from the big leagues to right here at the youth level.
When I first injured my arm, it was in the middle of the game. I felt a pop.
El Pasoan Chris Ramirez, like many, dreamed of playing Major League Baseball, and he was well on the way to do just that.
I was throwing around 90s, and my catcher came up to me and asked me, "Hey, are you all right?" And I was like, "Dude, I think I messed up my elbow."
That happened while pitching at Menlo College in San Francisco.
It's just like a car. After a certain time, it's of use and overuse and overuse. It could just happen. Players are throwing harder. They're getting stronger. Maybe the body is getting too strong for the tendons.
Ramirez underwent Tommy John surgery. This year is the 50th anniversary of the procedure that changed baseball and unintentionally opened the door for what many are calling a pitching epidemic.
The Tommy John surgery is a reconstruction of one of the major ligaments of the elbow. We use a tendon either from the patient's own body or from a donor tendon, and through some holes in the two arm bones, we reconstruct the ligament.
Some of greatest talents in baseball have undergone Tommy John surgery the past 2 years. MVP Shohei Ohtani, Cy Young winners Jacob deGrom, Sandy Alcantara, Shane Bieber, and young stars like Spencer Strider and Yuri Perez. The American Medical Association says more than 1,000 professional pitchers have had elbow reconstruction surgery since 1974. 35% of all Major League pitchers have had the procedure in the 2023 MLB season, with a 29% increase for all pitchers since 2016. Many doctors believe the injuries that we see in the big leagues start in high school or at the youth level.
We should do a better job as parents and coaches in protecting the athletes, and that really is pitch count. It really is having them pitch appropriate with appropriate mechanics and not throwing some of the more complicated pitches until their elbow matures.
Athletes who undergo the procedure continues to lower in age.
It used to be you'd only see it in athletes that were a little bit older, 18, usually about 18 or so, because that's when they really started to really pitch a lot. But now it's getting to be young as 14. I think people are starting to see Tommy John syndrome being performed now.
Local head baseball coaches Jesse Munoz and Rick Solis work to ensure their students practice and play the right way.
The one issue that I see a lot is the kids don't train. They play a lot. They practice some, but they rarely train. So building that foundation to withstand a whole year of throwing, a lot of the kids don't have it. All right, so the body's going to find that weakest point, and that's going to get hammered, and pretty soon that's what breaks down.
At the end of the day, having weak contact, that's what we want. And so we don't focus necessarily on how hard you're throwing. As a matter of fact, we hardly ever use our radar gun.
Both coaches have seen how baseball scouts' velocity grading has changed over the years.
It used to be 92, 93, hey, this guy's a big leaguer, all right? Now it's 98, 99, all right? So the grading scale on arms has changed. So if you're talking to a kid that wants to get noticed by college coaches or by pro scouts, all right, you got to light up the gun, and that's just a fact.
I've heard scouts say, he's a good pitcher, but if I go to my area scout and I tell him I have a kid who's throwing 81, but he does this, that, and the other, he's like, I'm going to get fired.
It's common to see high school or college pitchers who undergo Tommy John surgery. In the 2023 MLB draft, 23 players selected in the first 10 rounds already had the procedure. Compare that to the 2011 draft, where just 3 players had the surgery.
I did see myself in the future playing MLB or getting a contract, and before all that happened, I got my elbows ruptured.
But Ramirez's dream didn't come true. Many pitchers can play again after rehab.
1 whole year of therapy, like physical therapy, it hurts. And then after a certain while, you get to start throwing rehab and learn how to throw all over again.
But it's a common misconception they will throw better after Tommy John surgery. American Sports Medicine Institute says on average about 10 to 20% of pitchers never even return to their prior performance level.
When it happened, I did get depressed, honestly.
Not to mention the risk of suffering the same injury increases after Tommy John surgery.
For me, it did affect me because that was my second major injury. And it's like a history book that stays with you in your profile.
An MLB spokesperson says that they are currently conducting a wide-ranging study on all levels of play, but for now, the pitching epidemic continues with no solution in sight.